show is not suitable for children, sensitive men, or insecure women. Can you trust somebody that doesn't take care of their kids?
I don't trust no man on earth that does not take care of their children.
What's the biggest red flag in a relationship?
Low effort and not being honest.
Most of the time, you would think that a bad financial mistake would be spending money on clothes or vacation or like spending money on women. My worst financial mistake was buying a home.
Like a king, give me my crown.
Game time. Game time. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
We back at it.
Favorite day of the week.
That's a fact, though. Shout out to everybody that's been championing this since day one.
For sure. I love y'all.
But salute.
I know some of y'all missed the mess, but it's a lot of mess going on in the world we can talk about. So
that's a fact.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get to it. Man, there's a few things. First and foremost, salute to all the Black clothing brands that's been sending me merch. Man, it's really unfortunate because I can't find this brand's name. I was trying to find it. I get so much stuff. I just kind of, you put it away and then I just grabbed it for today.
You can look in the back of the jacket.
The tag does not have it. The tag don't have it. So I'm gonna try to find. But man, this is probably the best thing that I've received so far, actually, because a lot of people send me hoodies and t-shirts. But this is like a corduroy. It's actually a set. They sent me the jacket and they sent me the pants.
Okay, that's fire.
It's like that vintage Carhartt type vibe, but it was man, this is pretty dope. So I'm gonna try to get the brand's name when I go home and look through everything, but you got to put the name on the tags. That's important.
Yes.
Please. But thank you for this. This like I said, this is actually probably the best thing that I've received so far from my care packages that I get from like everybody outside of Godspeed. Godspeed is somebody else, but outside of Godspeed, this is probably the best thing that I've received. So shout out to y'all guys. Thank you for this.
Mm-hmm.
Took some creativity outside the regular hoodies and t-shirts.
Brand differentiation matters. Yep.
Appreciate it. And of course, speaking of Godspeed, the hat.
Hey.
LOX. Shout out to Godspeed. And I got the InvestFest t-shirt. It's that time.
For sure.
This is last year, I think. No, this is 2023.
One of them. That's
2023. This is 2023 InvestFest. So
yeah.
Get your tickets to InvestFest.
Please do. So much to talk about. I know we always say this, but this probably is the most important one. Things are changing so fast. I already started writing my outline, but I know by the time we get to August, I probably would have rewritten that presentation probably 8 times by then, given all the stuff that's happening. So get your tickets to InvestFest.
Get your tickets to InvestFest. And the last thing that I'll say is tomorrow, we got 1 day left, the Big Dipper Summit. Go to bigdippersummit.com.
Yes.
We're going to be in Richmond, Virginia, and also on the 3rd of May, we'll be in New Haven, Connecticut. That's the last stop on our book tour. Go to youdeservetoberich.book.com. Get your tickets. New Haven, Connecticut, May 3rd. That is for our book tour. The ticket gives you a book, autograph, signed book, and then we're going to be talking. We're going to have some surprise guests. It's going to be a whole vibe. You know how we do, meet and greet, the whole thing. So shout out to Detroit. We was in Detroit yesterday. Vibes. Yep. Appreciate y'all guys so much.
Always a good time in Detroit. Shout out to the Midwest.
That's a fact. Oh, we got an episode of Earning Leisure tomorrow at 6:00 too. That's my last.
No, you can't skip over that. Tell them who's gonna be on the show. What's
Stephen Espinoza talking about business systems.
Matters a lot.
Everybody's talking about systems, but what do you really have in place to make your business run efficiently?
Yep.
That is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, any announcements?
Yes, I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for an amazing Stock Club call. If y'all missed it, the new time, Pierre hit me. He's like, yo, man, I love you, but Blackout my favorite show. Man, make it before blackout. So new time, 7 p.m. Central on Wednesdays. If you want to get rich from the market, go to ianinvest.com, where to get in, where to get out. I think we had 152 prices posted for this month for different stocks. So for all like, oh, I can't find the entry. Out of those 152, you're going to find a few. I think it was like 22 that hit last month. And if I've made you money, please put yes in chat. Once again, shout out to my Warriors family. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for the hospitality. Red Panda Sports family, appreciate y'all. Over and out. Get your tickets to InvestFest. Red Panda family, you got a code. And go get You Deserve to Be Rich.
That's a fact. Telegram. Check Telegram, please.
Immediately.
All right. Let's get into it. We got a lot to cover today.
And don't hit me the week of asking me, can you kick it with me? I would be in kind version. I will be in preparation for my best presentation to date. So I won't put that out there now when I turn off my phone. Don't think that you blocked.
Respectfully.
So
okay. So let's talk about on a serious note. Okay, autism.
Oh my God. We're starting here. Okay.
We spoke about this before, but okay. So in 1980, 1980, right? 43 years ago. That's not a long time ago. 1980, not 1900, not 1800, not even 1950. In 1980, there was one in 10,000 children had autism reported. 1 in 10,000. In 1994, let me make sure I have the correct data here. In 1994, it was in 1995 it was 1 in 500. So in 1980 it was 1 in 10,000. In 1995 it was 1 in 500. Currently today in 2025 it's 1 in 31. And some experts are saying by the year 2035 it will be 1 in 3. So this is something that RFK, this is something that he's championing
for sure.
He's actually, he said he has a plan to stop it. I don't know how he's going to stop it, but this is part of his agenda. And I've heard some doctors saying that he called it an epidemic. Some doctors are saying that it's not an epidemic. It's just we're seeing signs now. Like we know signs now. Like people had it before, but they wasn't classified because we didn't know what the signs were.
Or tested properly.
So there's more tests that can identify more people. I'll say this from a non-clinical standpoint. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a scientist. I have not researched this 10,000 hours. I'm just a tax-paying citizen. What I have observed is an uptick. Just from me personally, I'm talking about this is from friends,
lived experience,
people that I know that have children. Friends and family, right? I've seen an uptick. It feels like from when I was a child. When I was a child, from the people that I knew that might have had autism, right? Or some kind of that similar situation to what I see now with young children. It to me feels like a tremendous uptick, which would go with these numbers, right? So I'm not necessarily buying what that doctor is saying as far as it's just that we're diagnosing people more. Probably that is probably true, but it has to be tremendously more children now than it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago. To me, like I said, I haven't researched this, but I'm looking at it firsthand. And I know a lot of children now today that have autism, And I did not know that many children 30 years ago that was autistic.
Yeah. If you look at the data, there's been a precipitous acceleration, but I can hear your mom, your dad, my mom telling us to be easy on the subject. So I will listen to my spirit guide. But I do think while he may be misaligned in some points, the research that needs to be done on why this is happening, I can definitely agree with RFK on, and maybe he needs to come back on the show. Maybe we can figure out what the plan is. I'm old enough to know that most conspiracies that we grew up with panned out to be true. Maybe the truth to come together in another 40 years about this, but I don't believe in grand coincidences, especially when the data skews that much over a 40-year period. But what do you guys think in the comments? Do you think this is an accident? Do you think that it's just better reporting? Or do you think this uptick has been caused by certain changes in cultural and health practices or protocols?
It's definitely something happening. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not going to go as far to say that it's vaccines that's causing people to have autism, because I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I said. I'm not going to say that.
Please don't.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But something is happening. What is that something?
Yeah, there's been a variable that is adjusted to make this a non-anomaly and transform it into being a norm.
And there's a variety of different things. Some people say that if you take Tylenol, aspirin while you're pregnant, some people say it's the food. Some people say that it's the water, it's the air quality. Some people say that it's linked to vaccines. I don't know what it is.
Combination.
It's extremely concerning.
Yeah.
When the numbers go from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 500 to 1 in 31 to on pace to be 1 in 3. What does that do to my thing is, what does that do to society, right? Because it's like when you have a third of the population that's autistic, and there's different levels of autism, but if you have a third of the population that's autistic, right? A lot of times people that have autism, depending on the severity, they can never really fully function in society by themselves. They got to have some level of parent taking care of them or a guardian or whatever, right? From a financial aspect, how does that drain our society? How does that drain our society from just a human capital? Like, what does that do to our society, right? If 33% of the population is now autistic, that's something that I don't even know how that even would. I don't know the amount of money, that a child is provided for school if they have autism is tremendous amount, right? So imagine if a third of the population had to be provided those services. How does the school pay for that?
Yeah.
How do parents pay for that, right? Because it's like, as a parent, of course, it's going to be more of a financial burden for you to take care of an autistic child 9 times out of 10, because you got to be there full time. You're going to have to do certain things. You got to make sure that you have to safeguard situations. And even as they get older, you got to maintain, the parental duties that you wouldn't necessarily have to do if a child did not have autism, right? So, man, this is definitely concerning.
It's alarming for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
And I would love to see like amongst the top 100 empires, was there an uptick in certain illnesses as that empire was falling? So for those of you who are data scientists, if you can find some causation and correlations between the two and send it to us, I would love for you to send that data over. But shout out to my brother Kyrie, his certain hills I don't want to climb up or die off of. So
yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, no, we don't have to actually say what do we think is causing autism. I think that would be irresponsible, because we're not educated enough on this particular topic to speak directly with the whole disclaimer. But but we could still say that there's a problem, right? I think
even sometimes telling a monster that it's a problem could be a problem for us. We can wake it up. Come on. Oh my God. Hey, what happened to y'all? That one conversation, yo. Listen, Monday, Steve was talking about the La Mafias. That's one of the La Mafiosos.
But I will say this, man. Shout out to all the parents with children with autism.
Absolutely.
I know a lot, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm speaking, because I know a lot of people.
I do as
that have
well.
children with autism, right? I know a lot, and man,
It wasn't as prevalent when we were children, for
it
sure.
wasn't as prevalent for sure. It's almost kind of scary to have children. Like every
Yeah.
child is a blessing for sure, but I'm just saying, like, you know, the type of trials and tribulations that could come with that, right?
Yeah.
So that could actually potentially deter people from having children if it's like a 50-50 gamble almost,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't necessarily know, like, if your child's gonna have that type of situation where you're really gonna have to, you know, be a parent your whole entire life.
Maybe that's the plan for a certain subsection of the population, allegedly, according to internet conspiracy back channels.
And it affects African Americans at the highest rate. Why is that?
Bioengineering. See, there's a couple of bags that I have that I could go into that y'all don't know. I have aptitude in the area. Like, I'm a failed aspired doctor, but like the research heart is still there. Man, when you get to pulling up those graphs and seeing some of the illnesses that affect us and afflict us at a greater rate, once again, I don't believe in.
So it's actually all right. So Asian Pacific Islander is number one. American Indian Alaska Natives,
yep,
is number 2. Black non-Hispanic is number 3. Hispanic is number 4, and white is last at the list, number 5.
Yeah.
Why is that? So we can rationalize why diabetes is higher amongst Native Americans and Black people, because the food that we're eating provided, and then you have a variety of different lifestyle. You can understand that. This is so there has to be some level of genetics that's being passed down, right? But why socioeconomic? This is a socioeconomic chart to me,
for sure.
The only people on lower on the totem pole than Black people in America are Native people. So you got the Native people at the lowest, at the highest rate is autism, Black people, and then Hispanic, and then white. So this, you don't have to be a rocket science to figure out something is being passed down that is directly related to socioeconomic conditions. What is it? Is it the diet? Is it the food? Or is it the medicine? Is it the diet, which is food? Is it the environment, or is it the medicine? There's 3 things that it could be. Or is it the trauma?
Combination.
Ian, you don't want to speak too much on this topic, I can tell.
Wake it up.
Move on. We'll move.
Listen, it's a few Pharma, Bilderberg, Council on Foreign Relations. It's a few. That Hill Line, New Jalisco. It's a few of them. I'm like, no. My bag not that big to combat that yet. We're working on it.
We'll move on.
Yeah, but it's a great point that you're making. I just want to listen. I can't. Same with the United States. I don't want to have so many enemies that coordinated an attack at one point. I don't know where it's coming from, so I limit my risk in certain conversations publicly. So, but there is definitely correlation there, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I saw what happened with Kyrie, and y'all wouldn't defend Kyrie, and y'all let Stephen A. talk bad about Kyrie for 3 years and degrade his brand. A lot of times we be talking about, we need more Black heroes, and then the arrows start coming, and y'all won't say nothing to the person who get paid to shoot at them. Shout out to Stephen A., but I rock with Kyrie. So once I saw that, I said, damn. And Kyrie was right. Pfizer ain't saying one apology.
Who?
Kyrie was right.
No, who didn't send one apology?
Most of the Black community.
Or
Pfizer.
Okay. We'll move on.
See?
We'll move on. We'll move on. We'll move on.
Have we hit? See?
We'll move on.
Shout to all parties involved, but shout to Kyrie.
That's a fact.
Has America hit its peak in alcohol consumption, or do you think this is like a little bit of a pullback? I think, but I wanted your take on that, on how the spirits brands are going to do over the next few years going forward.
I think it's definitely a pullback, but I don't think it's as serious as cigarettes.
Like, do you think we're at the beginning stages of where the cigarettes were in the early 90s, or no?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think it's gonna get to that point. Okay. Because the cigarette thing, alcohol can cause cancer as well. But the cigarette thing, once they really figured out this thing really causes throat cancer and lung cancer, then they start doing those commercials. Then they start doing the commercials, and it just was a whole thing of like, it was a perfect storm to collapse the tobacco marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Which did we ever cover the Edward Bernays story about this?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, tobacco, that whole thing was a sham from day one.
A sham.
Yeah. I don't think alcohol is going to have that same, because alcohol. How can I put this? Alcohol kills you slowly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has as rapid a decline on your body as cigarettes does. So I don't think that alcohol is going to be in the same bucket as cigarettes. But I think that people are starting to realize that it's not good for you.
Yeah.
I realized somebody said this before. It's like like when you drink too much, they call it an intoxicant, right? And if you drink too much alcohol, what happens?
You become intoxicated.
Well, you get alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
It's actually poison.
Yes.
Right? Human beings are the only species that purposely poisons their body.
Yeah.
Right? It's in the name. Intoxicant, poisoning. Yeah. Like, these are things that are literally poison.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take a small amount, it's not going to have that dramatic but if you take enough of it, it can actually kill you. And human beings are the only species on Earth that knowing and willingly purposely puts poisons inside of our body.
Do we willingly do it, or is it projected upon us to consume because legislation had made it legal because they didn't want certain mafias to have control of that market?
Two things can be true.
Very true.
Two things can be true. I think that for sure it's been marketed to us. It's been targeted to us for sure. Yeah. But also at a certain point, I think that most people have a certain level of education to know that alcohol, cirrhosis of the liver.
Yep.
Alcohol shrivels your liver over the course of time. If you ever known an alcoholic, right? That's why a lot of them need liver transplants.
Yeah.
Or they die from liver failure, right? That's just one of the few things that alcohol does to your body. Yeah. So if you ever seen an alcoholic, you know the medical side effects that drinking too much alcohol can have.
Yeah.
Just like the medical side effects that smoking tobacco can have, right? If you still, as an adult, make an educated decision that I don't fully care about that part of it, well, that's a decision that you made. You can be addicted. You can have an addiction. And I am sympathetic to people that have addictions. You can have an addiction. I get it. But you still willingly are putting poisons inside your body.
While they profit from it.
For sure.
On a publicly traded market.
For sure.
Y'all can say a lot about his leanings and morally if he was right or not, but damn, Diageo sure needed him to be free because y'all stock market is in shambles too. fucked up. Short term pain versus long term. Hey, y'all needed an ambassador for sure. But I just find it interesting from a lobbying standpoint what things are deemed to be legal and which ones are not. And then if you even look at the history of the tobacco industry and then how they started to fall apart, there was some inner fightings between the lobbyists, and a lot of those lobbyists went then and switched to alcohol. And then some of their sons later went to marijuana to make that legal. So pick your poison, no pun intended, but it's interesting how one is reported to be safe, especially like on Holy Sundays while you're watching football. Most of the ads on Sunday are alcohol or beer commercials. So it's fascinating. We pick and choose what's poison in this country in a bunch of ways, in a bunch of categories.
Everything in America is poison.
Wake it up. We talk about this for sure.
America,
for sure.
America runs on poison.
You're not lying though. Food.
That's what you said, right? The poison index?
Yes. Food, oil and gas, Wi-Fi, everything. Air quality.
The poison index in America. I mean, if you look at, like you said, the food, for sure.
For sure.
We know that from fast food to regular food, everything is processed, chemicals, all types of stuff. Food, for sure.
Petroleum, microplastics.
The medicine.
Yeah.
For sure. To keep people sick, to make sure that they're staying on medication, spending billions of dollars a year, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
When you look at other countries, don't have this level of toxic, like even just regular stuff like reality TV show. I remember we went to Dubai. They was like they had Real Housewives of Dubai. They canceled it after the first season because like it was like they was going back and forth. They had a black. They was like, we don't do that in our culture. Like this is detrimental to society. Porn. At some point, we got to talk about
the porn epidemic.
The porn epidemic in America has reached unproportional rates.
Yeah.
Which is even the soft porn on Instagram.
For sure.
Right.
Gateway drug on IG.
Drug.
For real. Which leads to the OnlyFans culture. Like I said it before, but like the underground world of gambling, prostitution, and alcohol used to be mob businesses, the music business as well. And all of those things that went mainstream. They put them little links right in bio.
Link in bio.
Like those shouldn't be taken down. Link. If we ran a publicly traded company and let's say even if it was 8% of our users had links out to a nefarious site that is XXX or 18 plus, it would not go well in the Senate hearing.
That's a fact.
So
that's a fact. We've normalized this at a whole different level.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
You want to get to this Mount Rushmore or no?
The Mount Rushmore. I only know one person on that list though.
The last one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a connoisseur.
Me either. Moving forward.
What's the generational gap that you can deal with in dating? Hypothetically speaking, I know you're like, I'm just saying, like, because there's a generational difference, right? Like, if you, for instance, we are in our early 40s, right?
Yeah.
If you're dating somebody who's in their 30s, let's say early 30s, there's a generational gap there, but there's still some level of commonality, but there's a generational gap. If you're dating somebody in their mid 20s, that's a tremendous generational gap.
It's a disconnect.
It's a disconnect.
Yeah.
If you're dating somebody in the 50s going up, that's a generational gap.
What?
No, so I'm just saying that
it's true. Yeah.
That's like somebody. If I'm 41, and even if it's somebody that's 51 or 50. But that's a different generation. They grew up on,
let alone 55.
Yeah, they grew up on Bobby Brown. I wasn't listening to Bobby Brown.
You don't like my prerogative?
No, I did, but I was a kid. Like I wasn't like a.
Oh, they was outside at the concert.
With the Gumby and all that. Like I didn't grow up in that era. I come after that era.
You remember when
So
Bobby Brown was dancing and dropped the packet on the ground and picked it up like when nothing happened on live TV?
shout out to Bobby. So
Woo.
what is your how you feel about that?
Yeah, I've had enough experiences to know that's not my cup of tea, up or down.
Up or down?
Like,
So you want to stay in your
like
age?
well, like a 10-year range, like max. Like today, somebody who 29 or 30 done it before. Of course, it depends on the person. You can never say never, yada yada. But usually, if it's too young, there's not much commonality there outside maybe a couple areas. And then if it's too old, I'm not trying to be Marcus and Boomerang with Eartha Kitt. Marcus, like,
Stella got
you know what I mean? I'm not here to discriminate, but if you like march with Dr. King, you out my range, you know what I mean? If you was in Selma with them, you know what I mean? It's too much.
So you
but I
need
also don't want to be like Ice Spice is your inspiration either. Like,
because some people want that. They want to have to feel. Oh, speaking of that, Tracy Ross. So she said that she usually dates younger men because older men have toxic masculinity.
I want to retire some of these words, yo.
And the younger men are more open to new age ideas. And let me get this straight too, because maybe 19 Keys can speak. The black community, toxic masculinity is not a problem in the black community.
That's what 19 Keys said?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more.
So he was saying that out of all the problems that we have, the last thing that we have, that toxic masculinity is the last thing that we should be concerned about. That was his thing. Because he's like, most men, a lot of men, I won't say most, a lot of men don't even grow up with their fathers. We need more masculinity. We need to be overtly masculine to young boys and to we're missing masculinity at the highest rate
and leadership
for
for
any
sure.
community. We're missing masculinity. So why are we trying to get rid of the tiny bit of masculinity that we have? We need to, you have to have more masculinity, right? We shouldn't be trying to lower masculinity in the black community because masculinity is already extremely low in the black community.
Okay, I agree with that. Two things can be true, but I definitely agree with that take. But we're missing a lot of leadership.
Toxic masculinity is a misnomer. That was his thing. It's not a problem for black people. It's not a problem.
Oh, put it in the comments. What do you guys think?
He said it's a distraction.
For sure. I think a lot of these topics are a distraction from talking about real issues and how a lot of these topics over-index in our community and on our threads. And anytime I feel like they give us talking points by decade, what's okay? Like in the 90s, it was like, how real are you? Keeping it real. Like, how tough are you? Which led to record-breaking profits for prisons and lawyers at scale. Even in this Tracy Ellis Ross conversation, when these conversations on relationships keep getting pushed, I think that it's done by design to make sure that we don't stay together, so that then we are spending more money amongst more brands that do not care anything about us. Because if it's unity, you have a desire to spend less or spend on assets that really matter. So to her point, I mean, I don't know her life. Of course, fan of the show that she was on. Mother was amazing, quote unquote, introduced Michael Jackson to the world. But we really want to have this conversation to know. Friend of the show.
Well, I think I can understand from her standpoint because she's older. So when you're older, you of course, like when you're older, you're gonna look for the inverse of what you are, right?
I can see that. Yeah.
So it's like,
and some older men are stuck in their ways. Not to do the Derek Jackson, but some men are stuck in their ways for sure.
But I can understand, like, that's why usually men date down or they'll marry somebody younger than them, right? Because it's something that there is some level of leadership. But if you're older, you're like, why do I need a man to lead me? Like, I don't need a man to lead me. I just need to just have fun with somebody. I just need a companion. I already have millions. I'm already successful. I'm already, accomplished I'm not looking to be under somebody's wing in that standpoint. I'm not looking to be, somebody, a housewife to somebody. I'm not looking for some level of leadership in that standpoint. Why would I need that? You're older.
But in her interview, it does, even though with all that she's achieved, it does seem like she is looking for love, and all of us are in some way, form, and fashion. I think even these conversations like pit us against each other so much to get us from fighting the problem opposed to debating with each other for clicks and views.
But it also leads to some level of like, shout out to like my man Zay, his dad. So I had some kids the other day, my son, some of his friends, and they was working out. It was
You was putting them through the gauntlet, boy.
Yeah, but it wasn't even me. It was my son's friend's dad.
Okay.
Shout out to him. But it was just a random day, like, yo, we're gonna work out. So he's like, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll take you. And then the other kids, they just popped up, and it was just working out, like doing push-ups, running up the hills, things like that. But that's needed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
And you need that to have some level of discipline, to have some level of activity, like that, like
framework.
Yep. This idea of toxic masculinity, it comes from people saying, okay, well, men are mistreating women, and all that 9 times out of 10 is because they don't have a male figure in their life.
That's a great point. And taught them how to,
like, you know what I'm saying, to teach them. So what are they listening to? They learning how to be men from society, from music, videos, from going outside,
Instagram,
like, right? So
yeah,
the lack of masculinity is the reason why you're seeing issues. So I don't think that it's not so much toxic masculinity, it's misguided masculinity.
That's a great point.
It's misguided masculinity because there's not enough real masculinity in the communities to get the kids to organize, to have a football team, to hold them accountable, to, you need that so they can have a blueprint to follow. If there's no blueprint to follow, you follow gangs, you follow music videos, you follow what you see on television, and exactly
misguided.
But there has to be leadership. Like, I don't think that we can't lower the value of men in society, black men specifically, and say like, oh, they're too pushy, they're too demanding, they're too. You have to have leadership.
I mean, but that's historically been done for control by society. Even the removal of the black man for financial incentive, that's been done. Even on TV, if you look at most television shows, this goes for white men as well. They have most fathers in the house look like dumbasses. Dope. This go back to All in the Family and any show you can think of from like the 60s on. Even in I Love Lucy, like classic TV shows, Ricky Ricardo was kind of like a pushover a little bit, kind of. So I think it's like programming that's made that. But if you can weaponize it and separate the family, they're not going to have more control over or influence over. I think that's definitely done by design. And as in other cultures, you don't see that as prevalent. Like when we went to Italy, we didn't see like a breakdown of family structure. We saw more families outside than most major cities than we would go to, having a blast together. So I think it's like a Western way to divide and conquer a family. For you, like, what's the largest age gap that you would allow, or generation gap? You're back some 82, 72?
I don't believe in going up.
Nothing can stop you.
No disrespect.
Come on, bro. If
there's always exceptions to the rule, of course.
Who would be the exception?
I'm just saying, it's just, this guy's crazy.
You're going out with Pam Grier. Don't play. For old time's sake,
there's always exceptions to the rule. But traditionally,
Pam Grier be right at Invest Fest.
I think that 20 generation is pretty out there. They're pretty far
psychotic. They wild, yo.
Too far going. You gotta be later 20s to kind of, because they still got some level of like understanding. That younger 20, that mid 20 generation,
yeah, 24 to 27.
Those are the kids that grew up on. They didn't even grow up on Chief Keef. They grew up on
Dirt. Shout to Dirt.
Yo,
G Herbo. Shout to Herbo. K600. Shout 600. 600 Breezy. You know what I mean? Woo. It's wild times.
That's a fact,
the girls be on phone them grave. Girl, you are too tough for me. What?
That is a fact.
A beady batty crazy.
What? Oh man.
What?
Did you see that when they was at Clark Atlanta and they was interviewing some of the kids, like some like male students, and they was asking them who was better, Jadakiss or G Herbo. And
that's crazy.
one of the kids, they was like, Jadakiss, that's the boy from New York. He like, yeah. He like, man, I ain't never listened to that. They like G Herbo, brother. Every one of them said G Herbo was better than Jadakiss.
It's wild times.
Which is why this generation's their brains are fried.
No slight to G Herbo. Shout to, you know.
Respectfully
to G Herbo.
Respectfully.
that him, Bibby, that era, woo.
Shout out to G Herbo. But I actually like him. We met him. We interviewed him actually in Chicago. Yeah. But come on.
Like Jada's. Well, let's not play with Jada's name.
Come on.
That's the day we needed Jay Wine to be out there in Atlanta, waking it up.
That's a fact.
What?
That's a fact. Okay. So okay.
And listen to the older fellas. Y'all keep playing with them younger girls, and them younger girls are gonna put the low and set you up.
Oh, before we leave this relationship conversation, just one more thing. Can we play this clip, please?
I'm not gonna lie, man. It's hard out here when you leaving out the club. It's like having to worry about every 5 seconds. You know, is it a dude that's not happy with you making the money you're making? Is it a dude that's not? Is it a dude whose girl came to the club 3 times and he's like, why she keep going to Bravo's club? Because that happens a lot too. Yeah. And Keita sees that. I don't know how to really make her feel comfortable because I'll be real with you, there's no way to make somebody feel comfortable in this environment.
I mean, I think y'all should talk because I can't imagine losing a father that way. She lost already one man that she loved, and so you might want to consider giving her your location, even if you got 2 phones.
I'm not sharing my location.
Okay, that's from shout out to my guy Detroit Bravo. So he got a reality show in Detroit, and that conversation went so left because he obviously was talking OG and giving him some game, and talking about his wife, and just listening, and when he said you should share locations, that's when everything just stopped. So are you sharing your location?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Why not?
So you're sharing your location?
Yeah.
So you're doing that? You're doing that currently?
Let me look at Go to find my. Go to people. Yeah.
Okay. So you share your location. So what inspired you? What inspired you to want to share your location?
She asked and I share it.
She asked you?
Yeah, she shared it first and then asked me and I share it.
Did she ask you? How did she ask you? Like, I would like you to share your location.
Hey, baby, do you mind? I forgot she said about maybe I was thinking one day. All right, cool. I got you. Cool. But to the fellas, I'll say this too. If you are you and don't lie, you can have your way.
Yeah.
You can have your way. But it's like, oh my God, baby, be so cute. The sandwich method, right? Put the good shit in the middle in the beginning, then the middle slide some shit in, then at the end another good compliment. So for safety and just in case you're a public figure, celebrity, I got you. Go ahead, just so. Okay. Would you share a location, Rashad? Let's wake it up.
I don't believe in sharing locations.
Why? Share your put me in your close friends and share your location right now. We friends. Why not?
I just don't see the point. I mean, I could see the point from a security standpoint.
For sure.
That part I see.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't see the point in sharing locations. I'm just like, it's like I don't even want to see where somebody's at all the time. I don't need it. Like if I'm with somebody, I trust them. If I'm with somebody,
for sure, yeah.
Right. And that level of trust that I've provided, and I would hope that would be provided to me.
Yeah.
Goes beyond like sharing location. Like I'm saying, like I don't want to have an ankle monitor on.
Yeah, because there's a way to bust a move with the location. Like fellas, You gotta, okay, fellas, y'all be getting your girl location, and then she switches to the iPad when she go bust a move with Darius and get in the Hellcat. You got like if she in the same location for 8 hours, somebody in Atlanta had a new scat pack taking a lot on you. Oh baby, I was asleep all day. I had a long day at the spa and I came home tired. I bet. I bet, my boy. So
I don't believe in that. But shout out to everybody that says it's okay. I just personally feel like you need some independence as a person. As a man specifically, like you need some level of independence, and I just feel like that might hamper on my independence.
I can see that.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah,
but I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody.
Fellas, as a man, you can't request it though. They got to give it to you. That's how you know you do it. You know what I mean? They just so.
Okay. Let's talk about Palantir launching its own version of college. So
wow,
this is interesting. They put it on Twitter. They said, skip the debt, skip the indoctrination. Yes. Indoctrination. Get a Palantir degree. Admissions are based on a flawed criteria. They pretty much went through the whole process of why college is broken. And they say get a Palantir degree and you can actually apply. They put a website up where you can actually apply for a job. I guess it's an internship.
Yep.
And then from the internship, then I guess you probably can work your way up the company. So it's a pathway to work at Palantir with no college degree, just a Palantir degree. Is this the wave of the future?
It could be. One of the biggest lessons that I've used and learned is that you need to be the angel in the midst of decay and destruction. So when the market was falling apart, and then we launched the show, like the timing was perfect, right? The emergence of Bitcoin came out of the great financial crisis that we had in 2007, 2008. There needed to be a way to have safety and a flight of risk that was on the table at the time. So the thing that, because this is Peter Thiel's fellowship model, which he's ambassador and investor for JD Vance. I wonder how quickly this model would be adopted amongst Palantir, Tesla, a few other companies of that ilk as an alternative. Now, the pros of this is you get direct access to companies, you get to go to college at a cheaper cost, you get direct experience. It's playing off the decay of the job market model and acceptance into college, which is a great idea. The bad part is if this is used in a nefarious way, it can go wrong for a lot of reasons. And given over the last few years, we've seen how easy it is to sway political opinion in the political landscape. If the right few companies, if they build like a MAGA 4 and they get a bunch of people to adopt this model at time and it works, it could spell a lot of trouble. But interesting the timing of the launch while the job market is in flux, when people are feeling uneasy, that they do this.
I think it's definitely going to make a lot of sense as far as if done correctly. It's like a trade school almost, right? Like if you always say, like, the way the college is set up, if you want to become an engineer, right, you got to go to school for 4 years. You probably don't need 4 years to learn engineering.
No.
Right? No. You could probably learn this in 8 months if you go through intense training, or at the most probably a year and a half, right?
2 years, yeah.
And then like on the job thing. So, but you have to take math, you have to take history, you have to take all these other things, right? And it's just like high school. Like, so the model of college is definitely broken. That's even for us, right? And this is why people tap into us, because they want to just learn about one particular thing. I want to learn about real estate.
It's like an apprenticeship. Yep.
Home buyer's blueprint. EY University, it walks you through A to Z. You'll know what you need to know to buy a home in 36 hours. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, I want to go to stocks. I want credit. Like, you don't have to go to 4 years of your life to learn about one particular thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this makes a lot of sense for companies, especially technology companies, for sure.
Yeah.
I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. But I'm a fan of this idea.
Regardless of what company does it.
Regardless of what company does it. Where you going?
Meanwhile, ICE signs a $30 million contract with Palantir to build immigration OS for surveillance and enforcement operations on their decade-long collaboration with ICE.
Well, you mean when you what? Wait a minute.
That's news. That's not my opinion.
No. Wait a minute though. Just wait a bit. Are you saying when you saying regardless of what company does it?
I'm asking regardless of which company deploys this idea. It's just an intellectual exercise. So
what does that mean? What does that mean?
Okay, if
are you saying companies that we don't morally agree with?
Yes.
Well, there's almost all companies have moral
hazards for sure.
Hazards.
Apple included.
For sure.
Yeah. It's just an intellectual exercise. So
would I want my son to go work for Tesla given the recent climate? No, of course not. Yeah. But if Tesla implements this, I do think that that's a good idea.
Harvard, I don't know what y'all endowment issue and the liquid assets, but you better fix what you got going on real fast.
Oh, it's true. If put it like this, if 20% of private companies implement this, if 20% of Fortune 500 colleges would be dead overnight.
It's over with.
Overnight, they'd be dead. At least a 50% drop in enrollment. Overnight.
And the non-power, 25 schools? We'll have the same kind of collapse that we did with small banks.
Because essentially, they can do the same pathway that Harvard is doing. For instance,
faster.
For instance, Morgan Stanley can implement a fast track to become
analyst,
leadership, analyst, whatever, right? And they can be selective. They don't have to, you still got to upload. So the same process that you have to do to get accepted to Harvard, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be an A student. You got to do community service. You got to have all this stuff. What if Morgan Stanley had that same exact checklist and said, instead of going to Harvard, come work for us and you'll get paid $100,000 on day one. And you'll learn real world training because we're going to put you with people. We're going to put you in the fire pit right away. You're going to be learning. We're going to have a system, but you have to, now you sign a 10-year contract to work for Morgan Stanley upon graduation.
Remember we had the conversation on Blackout about investing in people. I'm sure there will be some royalty overrides for a 15 or 20-year period in doing this.
Because now they can get the top talent straight out of high school as opposed to waiting, trying to get top talent 4 years later, and now everybody's trying to get,
Yep. Intellectually, though, I do like it because this is like intellectual AAU system for the nation, which I do like. But yeah, if Microsoft or Nvidia copies this idea, even Apple or Google, I think probably on a Democratic side or non-conservative side probably would adopt this first. It could have a tremendous impact.
Because it's like right now, right? We got top athletes that get NIL deals or get, they get scholarships, or we get, top academic students that get accepted to Ivy League school. What if that third class would be like, okay, now NVIDIA, now you're just like you're training to go to the league. You're training your whole high school career is geared towards getting an acceptance letter at 18 to now you've been accepted in NVIDIA.
To work at the mothership. Yep. It's a great idea. It is a great idea. And colleges need to reform. So I don't know if there's been adjustments, but I don't think fast enough because the world is changing so fast. But yeah, a lot of those models have to be remodeled, if you will, in the best case scenario, because they're definitely losing their edge. When you start to look at the cost of college and the return on it, it's just not a good investment how it used to be in the early 90s, early 2000s. Like to pay $150,000 for undergrad now in some cases is insane. Without a guarantee of a job, it's tough. It's tough.
So That's a fact. Okay. 60% of Coachella attendees finance their tickets to attend.
Buy now, pay later. This is concerning. It's one of those like anecdotes that you hear and you almost believe isn't true. And it gives like a sign of weakness in the economy. Whenever we start to finance too much, and not that Coachella is inexpensive, but I just thought it was an interesting footnote. Going back to the conversation we had on Monday about where the economy is and credit card levels, and the cash is not flush. I know everyone on Instagram makes you feel like the economy is great and the job market is thriving, but a lot of people are hurting. So if you have 60% of your people financing for a weekend, which is a non-luxury item or non-essential item, it just gives you a sign of where we are. And I wonder for broader markets and events, how much of that is being financed through buy now, pay later and Klarna and stuff like that, because they don't have enough money at the end of the month. So the economy's in a bad place. No one wants to say it because you don't want to come off as an alarmist and a pessimist and to remove hope from people. But once again, if it was 60% of people invest at InvestFest finance, it would be a bigger story. You're taking advantage of the community, and all kind of think pieces will be written. And so I just think America right now is in such a tough position where it has not done a great enough job thinking about the long-term ramifications of some of the stuff and hasn't taken care of its people. And now we're hitting some all-time levels. Even we'll go ahead an all-time high with the price of what it is now. Most people can't afford to even invest in it. Gold is priced higher than most tech stocks. It's tough. It's tough. So I know we talked a lot about dual citizenship, but if you had to move to 3 places in the world outside of America, what would the 3 be?
Well, Ghana, because obvious reasons. We have the relationships and everything moving out there.
Yeah.
Dubai, UAE.
It's a good one.
I think that's probably, the best place on earth right now as far as everything, all factors considering.
Mm-hmm.
And the third place that I would move to, I would probably say London.
Okay.
I'll probably say London.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mexico, 1, Dubai, 2nd, and I really don't have a 3rd. I got to go explore because everywhere else is like far. Bali's too far, so I don't have enough friends there. I may run into Russell, but how many conversations can you have about Fat Farm with him in the course of a year? So yeah, that would be my top 2: Mexico, Dubai, for sure. So if you met the baddest of the baddies in Dubai and she like, Rashad, they let you do whatever you want, but you got to share your location. She let you have a haram, but you got to share location. Habibi.
Habibi.
Go to hookah, do whatever you want. You not sharing location?
No, I just don't believe in sharing locations. Like I said, I don't have anything against it. I don't have anything against it.
My boy is going home.
How do you feel about wedding rings?
What do you mean?
Would you wear a wedding ring?
If it's some fly shit, I can't just do like the normal gold band. the little 10-carat band I see most men is cutting into the circulation. A regular what? No. Every kiss don't begin with K. Give me some fly. Go to Elegante or somebody. What's the other one? I saw him at the game yesterday. So yeah, if it's some fly shit, I will for sure. But just the regular Smeagol, give me my ring. Nah, hell no. Hell no. You're not a wedding ring person. Like if you got married, you wouldn't wear a wedding ring. You would do like a watch or something. A wedding watch.
Oh, wedding watch is legendary. A wedding watch.
Give me an Audemars.
No, I believe it. I just feel like a lot of this stuff is just, we just gotta start questioning everything. Like I just look at even my parents been married probably 47 years. man, they're the type to be together every day. Like every day they're together. Like they go to the grocery store together. They always together all the time.
That's romantic.
And
Go she survive.
My dad he never had a wedding ring.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's like you married. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like if you married, you married. Like I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying I feel like a lot of times in Western society, we follow traditions that have been set for us by Europeans without really even thinking about it. And a lot of times we get caught up in those things, but not the important aspects of what a real relationship is. And that's why the divorce rate is so high. Like you want to make sure your wedding is perfect. You want to make sure you got the flowers. You want to make
the pictures
the diamond engagement ring and the pictures, and you're gonna put it on Instagram, and then you realize that you have no foundation in your relationship.
Yeah. A lot more people care about the party and the marriage process opposed to like the actual marriage, for sure.
And I think Instagram has really done a lot because everything is for the gram now. So it's like you got to make sure that your proposal is almost a photo shoot at this point. It wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't like that.
You got to make sure you got a professional photographer and videographer at your proposal, not just
even your at I done seen some gender reveals go crazy.
Gender reveals, everything. But you got to think about the pressure that's on that, right? Because traditionally, like previously, when you got engaged, it was between you and your fiance, right?
Yeah, and the family.
You go somewhere, maybe you might invite the family. Now that has turned into damn near a wedding where you're inviting people. They coming from out of state. You got to figure out how you're going to do this. You got to make sure the lighting is right because it has to be perfect on Instagram. So you got to make sure the lighting is right. You got to make sure the videographer is there but hidden because you don't want him to know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's
an espionage mission.
That's a fact. It's a lot of pressure on somebody where it's like the origin of marriage that was not part of that. When we first got the origin, when people first created the origin, the union of marriage, all of this stuff that we have now was not thought about then.
Yeah, one of iPhones.
Wasn't an iPhone.
Wasn't that but I think if somebody love you, like all that extra shit won't matter if they truly care about you. A lot of times, like fellows that get caught up in doing too much, because if you don't do that shit, she won't stay with you. But got to be mindful.
And what if she says no?
That's fucking crazy.
You don't propose to somebody that's gonna say no. That's
if you even think it's remotely a chance.
Right.
What?
You don't propose to somebody that's going to say no. People gonna be like, well, how are you going to know? You know. If
I don't get the ugly cry on the proposal, I'm gonna be fucking upset. What?
You know deep down there's a possibility that she could say no.
If there's an inkling,
that means that you should not be proposing.
Yeah.
They got to be 100,000% no chance in the world that is a no.
And she's elated too. Some of y'all be proposing getting the answer in like 10 seconds.
The delay.
Oh my God. She buying time. Oh my God. She thinking about that roster. Got like Darius go. Got like Mike go to fucking Milwaukee. Dang, I got Deontay in Atlanta. Shit. They get the fan in too hard, them little fake tears. Hey fellas, y'all gotta quit falling. Just because she cried, I mean it's true. Calm down.
But yes, I do believe in marriage. I am a proponent. I am a proponent for all you men out there, because it's mostly the men of why are they always talking about marriage? Why are they talking about marriage? Like
and y'all not even married. I'm like, y'all sound like, and y'all don't want to even be married to who y'all married to. We're gonna keep it 100. The fuck, y'all need to be the main ones. Yo, what the bitches at Invest Fest? I thought you was married. Shut the fuck up, man. That would be like us being like, why are you talking to me and you not rich? You know how pompous that would sound.
Exactly.
What? Yo, man, y'all could never talk about this because we've lived some experiences you never could live.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact.
Humbly and respectfully, I'm a good mood, not my stay, but I'm just saying, yo, what you got married because you had no option. different. You lit and people admire you for you. And even I was with my son at the game and shit, like, hey, coming up to me, yo, man, I appreciate you, dog. Xander looking like, wow, all these people coming up to you. I'm like, because I'm him. I'm Steph with the stock shit in real life. That's why. That shit he did on Jalen, 48 feet. That's me in video, motherfucker. That's hey, some of y'all be trying to not because you don't not have shit else going. Put that in your commentary. And to the social media team, don't clip this up and put this out.
Please.
Please. These are just jokes written by 85 South, and I'm working to do better and be a better person and better lover and better friend and father every day. This is why the community tuned to y'all because y'all pompous. Listen, my boy. Listen, this shit got us to NVIDIA. I don't hear nothing you saying. There's internet perspective and market cap. I don't even know how you just sit there humbly with knowing the shit that y'all got in the can coming out. But you great, Joe. That's why I commend you, Rashad. Be having some shit in the tuck. I'm like, whew.
You gotta keep working.
But
I do. But like I said, I don't want people to think that I'm anti-marriage or I believe in marriage. I believe in marriage.
And then some of y'all be married, then be like, yo, if I was in your shoes, I would never get married. But then your wife pressed you for watching Blackout. Yo, man, if I was you, I'll stay single. You 65, boy. Wait till you die. That's a mistake too. Hey, fellas, I know y'all be saying that red pill shit. Yo, women value decrease after 35. A lot of y'all look raggedy as shit at 40.
That's a fact.
Raggedy.
That's a fact.
Ladies, and yes or no? Y'all
don't wait it out too long.
Don't wait too long, my boy.
Don't wait it out too long because you're gonna see the options. It ain't really as
dwindling,
plentiful as you thought.
Then you're gonna be a passport big bro.
Tricky out here.
Yeah, you're gonna try to get you something young, and you're gonna go to the Bronx, and they're gonna spin circles around you, boy.
It's tricky.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. So
speaking of being careful, what's up with this dude Tony Busby? Shannon Sharpe actually released a statement. So for people that don't know, it's $50 million lawsuit allegedly saying that it was some verbal abuse, some level of abuse between a past girlfriend or whatever. And Shannon Sharpe put out a whole detailed 2-page statement, counteracting that. Busby's the guy that Jay-Z recently went after.
Yep.
And I think he got debarred from New York because of that. And he's one of these guys that they call him an ambulance chaser type of vibe. What's your thoughts on this situation?
Tony, you gotta chill out, my boy. Like, I know you have built a reputation for yourself, but shooting at the wrong targets will throw your career off. Even in the Breakfast Club interview a couple weeks ago, shout out to Carrie, friend of the show, revealed she didn't even write the diss track to Beyonce. She was forced to do it. Like, there are some entities that you are going to go against that you don't realize how much backing and support they have, and it may throw off your career. So the Jay-Z thing didn't work. I can't speak to Shannon's character. I only met him once. But watching his career over a long period of time, even with us, for these reasons, I've heard Shannon say a bunch of times, I wouldn't even go in the same elevator as a woman, one-on-one, just because I don't want the interaction. Even some of y'all at investors, give me a hug, fist bump, or I'm a church hug you. I'm gonna give you the hip because I don't want any of that same kind of shit that he's going through. I think if a lot of these lawsuits keep falling not in his favor, there needs to be an action taken. I don't think you should just be able to ambulance chase for this amount. And then also to accuse someone of these charges and not pursue anything criminally and then just go civil first is asinine. Like, if you say he forced himself upon someone or verbally was abusive, then why not pursue any criminal charges? Fellas, also, it's a lesson. If you are lit and you renegotiating, you got to be mindful of some of the, as my dad will call them, snares that they're going to throw your way. For sure. Fellas, all that, I'm going to be macho and talk crazy to everybody. You're going to get a lot of legal cases behind that. This is not 1960, 1970. Please be mindful of how you talk in text or in person. No. So.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, Pope Francis,
Rest in
rest,
peace.
rest in peace. Pope passed away. I was watching this thing. They are saying that one of the leading people for the new pope is the pope from the cardinal from Ghana.
Mm.
So do you think that there will ever be a black pope?
I was just talking about this today. Shout out to baby, she brought up this conversation. There's a movie about this whole scenario.
About the black pope?
Yep. And he ended up being second in running. I always think in movies there's a lot of foreshadowing given the relationship they have with the agencies and entities that run the world. I don't think that the world is ready for, I would love to see it. I don't know if the world is ready for a black pope or that wears the white robe. I'll say that because there's the other black pope. So I would love to see it, but given the level of division and how super conservatism is sweeping not only our nation but the world, that would be the first time in how many years we've had a black pope, allegedly. So yeah, but it would be amazing. Y'all thought we celebrated when Obama got in office. Ooh, boy, you get a pope from Ghana? Oh my God. What? Century of the return. What? Yep. Don't y'all take them vixens to the Vatican if you get in office. I mean, getting the popeship. Hey, y'all turn everything out. Come on. Don't do it. Do you think we'll get a black pope?
Do I think that we'll get a black pope?
So much I know. So much.
Oh,
the
man.
problem with having so much information, for those of you who do this, I hate when y'all see y'all talk about something. You have to find ways to communicate things without being a threat to the information or the system. So much at stake, though.
So, do you want to know something interesting?
Yes, I would love to.
There's been 3 black popes already.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they don't tell you.
Don't tell you. Yep. Last one was what, 1700s?
The last one was 492.
Oh,
AD.
really?
492 AD. So you can Google this if you guys are interested, or ChatGPT. Pope Victor from 189 to 199 AD.
Negro.
Well, he's from modern day Tunisia, Libya, and keep in mind, Libya and Tunisia didn't look the same that it does now.
Yep.
Then that's before the Arab invasion. Another one, Pope Melitius, 311 to 314 AD, North Africa. And then the last one was Pope Julius. Research.
In the 490s, damn, I was way off.
Research.
Bishop, no.
Yeah. Research.
I forgot the name of that movie, but you guys can go. I think it's on Netflix, about how they decided who's going to be the new pope and the decision making matrix that goes on in selecting a new pope.
Oh, it's a whole process. It's kind of gangster.
Allegedly.
But in modern day society, do I think we'll have a black pope? Man, that's
We'll monitor the situation.
We have to monitor it.
You have to monitor the
We have
situation
to
and
monitor the
see,
situation.
because we're not familiar enough with the selection process in the Vatican to be versed enough to know. You know.
But Google images of the 3 African popes. That's a history lesson for you guys
Yes.
that they'll never teach you and you'll never learn.
Umar, add this into your talk point matrix.
Please.
Mhm.
Please.
Yeah.
Have billionaires destroyed America?
Such a heavy question. Let me put on my cape. Some, not all. Get your tickets to Invest Fest. Some, not all.
Some, not all. I like that.
So
I like that.
I do think you may have a class of megalomaniacs that are in the billionaire class or billionaire family regime that have not put the best interest of the country ahead of their own private interests, for sure. And once again, as I talked about on Monday, I think there was too much of an emphasis on short-term thinking and short-term gain and not enough conversations around the long-term ramifications. So also too, is generational wealth overrated? Because even in some of these richest families, they only last 3 generations, 4 max. The Vanderbilt family isn't what, kudos to Anderson Cooper, but the Rockefellers, the oligarchs that used to be are not sustaining how they used to. I do think you should give your kids a leg up for sure. I definitely believe in that. But I think when we talk generational wealth, a lot of times I don't think people realize the decay that there is in the asset management, and then especially in the business. Usually, like when the person who started it dies, it goes to the wayside and it's really taken over by friends and family of that person more so than the kids.
Well, generational wealth is almost a lottery. You should try for generational wealth for sure. That's important.
Yeah.
Because what's the worst that could happen? You're gonna have a lot of money while you're alive. The thing with generational wealth is that it goes beyond just how much money you can acquire while you're still living, because a major part of it is variables that's out of your control, like your descendants, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can have, first of all, you got to have enough children to make this make sense. Male children specifically. So, okay, let's say you have 3 sons, right? You do your best raising your kids, but ultimately you can't control your kids. Well, let's say you have 2 good kids and 1 knucklehead. So all right, so now you got at least 2 good kids. They're carrying on tradition, they're carrying on legacy, right?
Yep.
But what if out of those 2 kids, right, they only have 1 son, or might have 3 daughters. Now the daughters they get married to men. The men that they get married to, they might be knuckleheads. And so, or one of the kids might go crazy. One of the kids might just be a thief. One of the kids might be a drug addict. There's a variety of different things.
Or the husband may angle to take over the business the way that Triple H did from Vince.
Exactly. So there's a variety of different things that's out of your control that can lead to squandering of a fortune, or losing a company, or mismanagement. You know, it's out of your control. So usually they say, like, wealth is usually going after 3 generations.
Usually,
the first generation, including yourself, your first generation is you have to get it right. The second generation is passed down, so they're more managerial standpoint. The third generation, by that time, they have no appreciation for anything. They've already been 2 generations of being rich. It doesn't really matter to them. They're not equipped to handle it. And the third generation usually squanders it.
Yeah. It's usually gone by that point. But what do you guys think? Do you put it in chat?
But you still got to try for it.
Yeah. I know some people gonna be like, park it in the trust and da-da. Listen, man, there are lawyers who are sharks, even in the planning and the state process, who are sharks who find ways to pillage money out of those accounts. The same way that the Hubert Davis, I don't know if you listened, but clearly you may not have liked our commentary, but from that class, it was a lot of advisors who got a lot of money from athletes. What's not talked about enough is the attorneys who get a lot of money out of the estate planning. especially if the kids are not proactive or knowing what assets are collected in said trust. There's ways around all that. Just go look at some of the cases: 100 million, 300 million, 400 million dollars being taken from multiple people. So, and these are from smart people. No dummy amasses 300 or 400 million dollars in wealth, and then so. Podcasters, I know you were upset last week. I love you so much from the bottom of my heart. I just want to be loved and want to love you back. But I said what I said. Then Lil Duval backed up everything that I said.
What did he say?
Y'all ran podcasting into the ground. And I know it's a bunch of people in the comments who's like, well, the growth rate is 8% year over year. A lot of the numbers sound great, and there's once again the true crime space, which I illustrated last week. Enough of us are not in. Y'all let Trap Lord Ross come in and take all the fucking trap stories and put them shits out. Even told every BD story, a Dirk Von story, Yellow Beezy. Y'all let him come in, and y'all won't say nothing to him. At least whack Preston. Jesus. What? Okay. But the typical lane for podcast, and I'm not saying this to hate. Like, I care about us. And a lot of times y'all think that I'm just here like popping shit. I'm telling you, there's been too much concentration in this, just like the same way y'all did NFTs. And there's not enough diversity in the content being created to give you a leg up to have a chance to make an impact in that space. I've been saying it for 2 years. Yo, a lot of podcasts going out of business. Business model wrong. And y'all keep fighting it, and y'all keep going out of business. You can't have $2 million of expenses and then think AdSense is going to move the needle for you as a sole way of getting paid. But what do I know? If I gatekeep, I'm an asshole. If I tell you the truth, I'm an asshole. What more do you want from me? Podcast Summit at InvestFest. I don't know. Maybe we'll get Vlad to tell y'all in real time that it's not working and y'all are here. Y'all don't like Vlad no more.
Who's the top kingmakers in our culture?
In what industry?
Media. I have my
That's
list.
a great question. Kingmaker?
Kingmaker.
I'm gonna build my list off your list. Who you got? You surprised me with this one. This is a good one.
Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
Look at her tree. Gayle King.
For sure. Oh, just in general, not for the culture. Oh, just in general? Oh, okay, go. Got you.
Oprah Winfrey for sure.
Yeah.
Then I would definitely go with Nick Cannon.
For sure.
I mean, you look at his, he used to manage R&B singer from Oakland.
Kalani?
Yeah.
Early.
Early. Kalani. Of course, Wildin' Out. I mean, that tree with
legendary.
Nick Cannon don't get enough credit as far as, and he don't take percentages of
he does right by the people that
he's put a lot of people on. Nick Cannon has put a lot of people on. He's responsible for a lot of people's success.
Yep.
Charlemagne the God.
For sure.
I think Charlemagne
a lot of fruit on that tree.
Definitely responsible for a lot of people's blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. He's influential. Biggest platform on a daily basis with the Breakfast Club.
Gives a lot of game freely.
For sure. Charlemagne for sure.
Bob Johnson out in that conversation? He gave a lot of opportunity to comedians.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I was thinking more of like hands-on.
Like present day? Oh, okay,
like
hands-on.
Hands-on type thing.
Oh, okay, got you.
I would go with Kevin Hart.
For sure.
I think Steve Harvey.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a few. I mean, and then of course, if you go music side, you got Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You can't forget LeBron James either.
That's a great point. Yeah, he's put a lot of people in position.
Is there a Maverick, Carter, and a Rich Paul without LeBron? Of course, shout out to those guys. They are geniuses in their own right. But
Yeah, they took the ball and ran with it, but yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
that comes from Bron.
And his vision. Yep. At a time when it was looked down upon. I remember what was that Rap City he went on and brought them? And everybody was talking about like how could he have his friends advising him? And that was like in hindsight, brilliant move, but at the time everyone was criticized. ESPN was criticizing it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm biased, but you know, I think y'all have done a great job at elevating, regardless of what the public may say. You know what I mean?
Appreciate you,
Of course.
Self-praise is no praise, so you always got to get accolades from other people.
I don't believe that. Sometimes you got to play it, toot your own horn, pause. But I'll say it. Y'all put some voices on some stages that, you know. Yeah. Especially in Best Fest, boy. It'd be like 80, 90 people. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
Easily. So, and the mix of voices and talent paired together, that's, trust me, I went to a lot of conferences before, boy, they was boring as hell. I'm like, okay, it's the blueprint. Get it lit. So, yeah, that's a good Kingmaker list.
Kingmaker.
For sure.
Yeah.
Tyler
Perry.
For sure.
For sure.
Master of media, too.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Shonda Rhimes. She's cultivated a lot of talent and fought for a lot of talent who wouldn't have been in certain shows at a certain time, especially like with Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder. Like she fought for a lot of the characters and creatives that she had on that show.
And it's unfortunate the situation that he's in now, but Kanye West.
For sure.
If you look at Kanye, I mean, you have Virgil from his tree. You have Don C.
Yep.
You have what's my man? Jerry Lorenzo.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I forgot about
that's just on that's just on fashion.
Fashion, yep.
That's just fashion. And
music wise, Amplified Kid Cudi, Travis,
Justin LeBoy. I mean, he didn't make Justin LeBoy, but
he helped accelerate
and amplifying his voice. Then you said music side, you got Big Sean.
Facts.
100%. John Legend.
Big facts.
Like he might have the illest family tree.
He got
the fashion side. His fashion side is crazy.
Yeah.
And he got the music side. His music side is crazy.
People hate when I say it, but Kanye is a better creator than Steve Jobs. He just got so off track. Like if I told you in 2008, Steve Jobs will influence 3 fashion brands, a music label, and tech, you would be like, there's no fucking way. Kanye did it. He just went off the rails.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
If he stayed on rails, Kanye would probably be worth 20 or 30 billion easily.
His family tree is crazy.
Skims.
Facts.
He put Kim in power and put the designer who really came up with Skims and oh my god.
Facts.
He got the whole world on earth tones and nude and all that.
Troy says Spike Lee.
Okay.
Early days, I guess.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington. He gave a lot of actors their first break. Samuel Jackson.
For sure.
Denzel Washington. I mean, you could just stop there. That's legendary. Yeah. That's a legendary acting tree.
2 of the greatest every year.
2 of the greatest.
Giancarlo from Breaking Bad.
Halle Berry.
How old Halle Berry?
Huh? How old? Halle Berry.
You'll move up the draft class for Holly.
But put in chat who's some of the top Kingmakers that you've witnessed in this thing in different areas.
Ryan Coogler making his way on that list. Give him a few more, but
for sure. I mean, Michael B. Jordan. That's
yes,
right. The Michael B. Jordan. That's him, right? Like,
yep.
Ryan Coogler.
What's the brother that directed Get Out?
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, he's another one. Chappelle too. We're leaving Chappelle off that Kingmaker list. Chappelle's solid, and let people get their royalties and splits correctly, and didn't rob everybody. Especially in that comedy scene, it's a lot of people. Even after he got canceled, who he was still helping.
Marion Barry.
That's a different. Well, true.
No,
True.
you got Don Peebles, and Bob Johnson.
Yeah.
2 billionaires.
Yeah. That's true. If there's any political officials that are currently on substances and then want to elevate me and Rashad, please give us a call. I will have your back forever, my boy.
Oh,
Forever.
the Kingmaker.
Mm-hmm.
You need more Kingmakers in this world.
True.
But the problem is that when you make these people kings,
They betray.
they turn to mad kings.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's the problem.
And don't stay solid. That's the issue.
That's the fact.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of get it.
And
Y'all
that's
can call me.
because the opposite of a kingmaker is a gatekeeper.
Well, you gotta put a gate around a fortress.
Who's your top 5 gatekeepers? You go first.
And oh my God! In our community,
the Mount Rushmore of gatekeepers. I know a few. I got a few in mind.
Troy, put some in chat.
I got a few.
Top 5 gatekeepers of all time.
Mount
I mean, that leads to the conversation: is gatekeeping necessary? If people are not going to be loyal,
sometimes it is. I ain't gonna lie to you. Sometimes
Yeah.
it is. Once you get burned a few times, you realize like I ain't
done. Like they call it a moat for a reason. And the way to have more opportunities flow back is if a person helps you not to turn your back on them or betray them. Soon as the little ship get a little rocky, or I don't know. Okay, cool. Top 5 gatekeepers. That's a great question. Let me call a friend. Troy, help me out. Is it gatekeeping if somebody asks for an apology so I can do an interview or no?
There's a few gatekeepers. There's a few of them that come to mind.
Yeah, we got to do some research. Can you force somebody to do an apology so your partner and friend can do an interview? Is that gatekeeping?
To do an apology? Well, this is like a real life situation.
Remember, oh boy, wanted an apology from you before. He's
yeah.
I said, what? That's a crazy business stance to.
And the beat goes on.
For real.
And the beat goes on.
For real.
Culture vulture. When a culture vulture and a gatekeeper combined.
Combination. That's a great combination, though. You get it off.
That's a dangerous combination.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous.
Yep. But you got to outwork the vultures. I keep saying it. Outwork. Hey, a lot of y'all, Trap Lord Ross got y'all wiped down.
Facts.
A lot of y'all don't want to touch. Hey, I'm not saying you should touch the stories, but from a documentarian standpoint, you got to give him credit for what he's created. But y'all won't say nothing. I'll be in. Y'all don't say nothing crazy to him. So, top 5 gatekeepers that we can talk about. Oh, that's one who be faking them numbers too. But yeah, he powerful. He powerful. He the. Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real.
Love y'all.
It's been real. We'll see you guys.
Yeah, we got to do research first.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. You going to the Gen X concert with SZA?
Are you going?
Probably not.
I don't really go to concerts too much.
What? Troy, you going?
Well, he's a concert goer. He
yeah, for sure.
I'm not really a concert going. But I respect Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to Kendrick. He just got his Chanel. He's a global ambassador to Chanel, something like
Did
that.
he? Oh, shot the punch and what?
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Hey,
salute.
listen. If these the opportunities would come with Killing the King, I'm not mad at you. Shout out to the boy though, still, but they have maximized this beef. I'm not gonna lie. What?
That's a fact.
Mm,
That is a fact. Squeeze the juice out of the lemon.
got to.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tap in. Yes, sir.
Fellas, be careful.
Yes, sir. Ski.
Mm.
All right, y'all.
Love
Love.
y'all. Peace. Tony Busby, you on a dial. We gotta
Please stop the nonsense.